Now we will move on to the education session. Topic is how to prepare and deliver an icebreaker speech, which we are going to do in the next meeting. It is my pleasure to introduce today's resource person who was my mentor to Toastmaster Gladys Monteiro, a banker by profession, serving at premier institution, Karnataka Bank since 36 years. She loves learning new things, a voracious reader, and has special interest towards music and watching movies. She has been a Toastmaster over 10 years. Over to Toastmaster Gladys. Stage is yours now.
Good morning, dear children and my dear Toastmaster friends. The one thing I came across while listening to all the children while the introduction was going on, all of these little children are ambitious to be fearless while speaking on stage. And as we go through this, as I give you this session on how to organize your icebreaker speech, you will come to know how to be fearless. Once upon a time, when I joined Toastmasters, I too used to have these little butterflies fluttering in my stomach, so to say, when I went on stage and when I used to give my speech. So how to organize your icebreaker speech? Now let me break this down for you. Now in an icebreaker speech, when I say a speech, you have to convey your thoughts, your ideas to the audience. Now, it is not like a conversation. Now, when Chandru sir was talking to you, asking you about your what class you were studying, what were your hobbies, and it was a sort of a conversation with you. It was not a speech. But now, when you have to give your icebreaker speech, you will have to give a proper speech. Now, when I say it is a speech, it is you have to organize your ideas, your thoughts logically, and you have to prepare what you want to say, how you want to say, how much you want to say, for how long time you want to say. And for this, you have to be well prepared. Or else what will happen is your audience will be confused. You will not be able to convey your ideas across to the audience. So you will not want to confuse your audience. Now coming down to the going to the second part, icebreaker. Now children, please put on your videos so that I'll be able to see all of you. And the thing is icebreaker. How many of y'all know what an icebreaker is? Do any of y'all know what an icebreaker is? If y'all know, you can unmute and say so. Or else I will go ahead. Now, icebreaker. Now, a block of ice. A block of ice, it melts. That is, it becomes more fluid. It flows. Now, a icebreaker is meant to make one more comfortable with the audience. You can melt with the audience, make yourself more known to the audience. So your first speech in Toastmasters is known an icebreaker speech. It is meant to break the ice so that you make yourself known to the audience, make yourself comfortable to the audience so that you can gel with the audience. And so the audience comes to know yourself, know you a little more better. So this is a formal way of introducing yourself to the audience. Now there are 4 things you need to do when giving an icebreaker speech. One is you need to select ideas. Now you cannot tell everything about yourself to the audience. You need to select what you want to tell to the audience about yourself. Now you need to put them in order. You need to organize things. You cannot tell that in a haphazard manner. As I said, you will only confuse the audience. Now, if you want to tell yourself, first you cannot say that I love football. Then you cannot say that I was born in Mangalore or Bangalore. And then you cannot go back to your hobbies like guitar or things like that. You have to put them in a logical way. And then you have to check the time. Like if you have to talk for 4 minutes, then you'll have to talk for only 4 minutes. So you'll have to prepare your speech so that it comes up to only 4 minutes. And then you need to practice it. It is not like having a conversation, as I said. So you have to practice your speech. Now, when I said practice your speech, you have to practice it so that you give it to the audience in a manner where the audience understands it. Now I would like to share screen with you all to make things more visible for you.
Yes, Gladys, go ahead.
Okay, okay. So the first thing is, first screen as you see is select ideas. Okay, so now there are a number of ideas as you can see. Okay, so number of ideas. Now all these ideas should be about your life. So when it is icebreaker, you're telling something about yourself to the audience. So you can tell about your hobbies, like your sports, like football, baseball, cricket, or whatever are your interests. Then you can tell about your other hobbies, that is guitar, piano, or the violin, whatever. Or you can tell about your reading hobbies, what book you recently read, how that book affected you, and what other books you love reading, or a recent place you have been through, the places you have traveled to, where you were born, and things like that. So all these ideas, how many ever ideas you, whatever that comes to your mind, just put down those ideas. Let them be whatever that comes to your mind. Just write it down one after the idea. So this is how you select your ideas. Okay. So moving on to the next one. Now you need to create an outline. You need to put them in order. Now out of these ideas, you have to decide which of these ideas you have to put them in the beginning. That is, you have to create an introduction. See, maybe you put 2 ideas at the beginning and around 4 ideas, that is A, B, and C, 4 or 3 ideas in the middle. It is called the body of the speech. And around 2 ideas at the end of the speech. Okay, this is called the conclusion. Now think that I'm giving an icebreaker. Now, always an opening of a speech should be a little bit of, an eye catcher. It should catch the attention. It should grab the attention of the audience so that the audience feels attracted towards you. The audience should feel, oh, I need to listen to this person. This person has got something interesting to tell me. So that the interest, the audience is glued to you, and for the remaining 4 minutes, you hold the attention of the audience. So now think like I was born in 1964. I just say, I am Gladys Monteiro. I was born in 1964, and I go on to say the rest of the thing. What will happen is the audience will feel disconnected. Instead of that, I make it a little more dramatic. And I say, a little girl bundled up in a cradle lies at Culasso Hospital. And Dr. Lydia Culasso comes up and says to the mother, will you give up this baby to me for adoption? You have so many other children who will come up after this, born to you. Will you give this baby, cute baby, up to me for adoption? She says to the mother. But the mother refuses to give up the baby girl for adoption. And she takes this little baby girl home and names her Gladys. So this will catch the attention of the audience, and the audience will be, it will feel like listening to your story. So you begin your introduction with maybe a little story like this, or maybe a nice quote somewhere. So you could begin your icebreaker in this way. Then in the middle of the speech, you go on to mention your hobbies, where you traveled, and what impacts your life, or a person you admire the most, and things like that. And then always your conclusion or the end of your speech, you should tie it to the opening of your speech. Now, like how I began my speech about myself, I could tie the end of my speech like, and then this little girl, Gladys, grew up to be this confident woman you see today, who is giving you this presentation. And all this is because of Toastmasters. I joined Toastmasters, and this has helped me in becoming this confident woman who I am today. So maybe you, if you could do this, tie up your conclusion with the beginning of a speech, it makes a better impact. So always remember to tie up your conclusion with the introduction. So this way, always any speech, even your evaluations or your table topic for that matter, always should have a beginning, a middle and an end. So an introduction, a body and a conclusion. And always, especially a prepared speech, remember to tie up your introduction with your conclusion. And then this is very, very important. Time your speech. Now, an average speaker, 1 minute of your speech, when you have to speak for 1 minute, 130 to 150 words. 150 words is a little fast. When you talk fast, 150 words, you speak of 150 words. So an average speaker will 130 words constitute 1 minute. In the same way, if you do your math, 4 minutes will constitute 520 words. And as you see in the picture here, 5 minutes, 650 words, 6 minutes, 780 words. So in the beginning, you could use 150 words for the introduction. In the middle, as I said, you can use 3 or 4 ideas. And in the conclusion, you could use 150 words. So according to this chart here, you can time your speech. So I hope I'm clear with this. Any questions regarding this, children? Am I clear about this? You could unmute yourself and ask any questions. Please go ahead.
Children, please ask any question if you have, because we are going to give icebreaker in the coming session.
Yeah. So Chandru, what will be the timing for the icebreaker? Have you all decided?
It is 2 to 3 minutes for the
2
children.
to 3 minutes. Okay. So now if it is 2 to 3 minutes,
Sorry to interrupt, but Esther has a question. She's raising her hand.
Yeah, please, Esther, go ahead.
So, ma'am, always does it need to be 150 words, or can we like do more or less words in it?
See, now if you do more words, what will happen is you'll have to speak faster and your audience will not understand you. You cannot speak at a faster pace, okay? So make it like 150 words only, because this is the standard. For a minute of speech, make it a max of 150 words. So that you will not have to edit your speech later. Otherwise, what will happen? You will have to edit your speech and you'll be wasting your time. You don't want to waste your time, right, Esther? That is
yes,
why.
So,
yeah, if you want to, now they are saying 2 minutes, then make it a max of 300 words. And within those 300 words, you script your keep it ready. Okay? Any other questions? Yeah. Anybody else?
Can I give a suggestion?
Yeah, Winston, please go ahead.
Another thing is, these words Gladys has shown very nicely. There is another guideline also which I follow. If you are preparing your speech on the computer with the 12 font, if you type one A4 sheet, if you get a printout on A4 sheet, one paper, it is around 5 minutes. So mostly you all prepare on the computer. Then if you put it on the computer with A4 12 font size, one A4 sheet comes to around 5 minutes. That's all this is how I follow. Over to you, Gladys.
Yeah, thank you, Winston, so much for that input. Thank you very much. Okay, so we move on to the next part. Now, after all this, the first is you have selected your ideas, then you put them in order, then you check the time. So now your script is ready. Now, after your script is ready, what do you do next? Now, when you see this picture, please unmute yourselves and give answer. Now, when you see this picture, what comes to your mind, children? You can unmute and answer. What do you all do? Yes, Esther.
Ma'am, they are practicing to get confidence in front of the mirror.
Yeah, yeah. It is not all about confidence. It is how you look while practicing your speech, like your gestures. How? Yeah, tell me.
Like you practice the gestures, how
Yeah,
you speak
correct.
to them, your facial movements.
Correct. Yeah. How you look, how you whether you can see your full self, your hand gestures, your eye contact, and all of it. So how you look to the audience. So
That
this
is-
is how
That
you.
is Hazik for you, Gladys. Hazik.
Yeah, Asik. Thank you for that question. So this
Yes.
is how you practice. Another one way of practicing your speech is to practice your speech in front of your elders or your friend or your brother or sister. Give them the script and you practice speech in front of them. So they will give you your feedback. And there's one more way of practicing it is you take your WhatsApp, your phone. You might not have a phone, but you can take your help of your parents and record your speech. Take a video of it. Then you get your timing also. You see how you look and take a video of it and see how you can improve yourself.
Ma'am?
So, yeah, tell me please. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. I'm
You-
really sorry.
May I
Yeah,
know who's talking?
Yeah. We should like look neat, presentable.
Yeah. May I know who's this?
What, ma'am? Sorry,
Yeah.
ma'am. Pardon.
May I know who's talking?
Hasik.
Hazik.
Asik. Okay, tell me, Asik. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. As I was saying, we should look like neat and presentable. We
Yeah,
shouldn't
very
be
much.
like in anxiety. We
Yeah.
should be maintaining eye contact.
Correct. All this is very important while giving a speech. We have to be relaxed and maintaining eye contact. All that is very, very important. We have to relax first. Okay. So these are all the important things which we have to keep in mind. Okay. So any questions? Hope I'm clear about your icebreaker, children. You'll have to give it starting from next week. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Session is open for asking questions.
Okay, well, if there is no question.
Okay, I will consider our session at the end of the session. Had a good time explaining to you all. Over to you, Chandru.
Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster Gladys, for the interesting interactive session on icebreaker. I'm sure all the students had a note of it, and they will prepare their icebreaker speech in the coming sessions.